But let me explain how democracy works. People can have viewpoints, they vote on them. The real problem is the people of Kentucky and the people of California who keep voting in those fucking ancient crypt masters like McConnell, like Dianne Feinstein, right? Incumbency's too strong? Yeah. But I don't want to change the fucking Constitution just because people are morons, even though I would love to see it happen, right? How old is Grassley? Grassley's like 80. How many times has that guy had cancer? Right? I know the incumbency is strong, yes, but I blame society, right? Trade nation. So instead, perhaps some other semis because Broadcom will. Could. I'm not sure. Like Broadcom is such a weird semiconductor company. By the way, do you want to know how we know Broadcom's going to do well? We have an answer to that. This morning, a company called Ciena reported, and they're up 16%. All right. How is Cisco doing, by the way? Cisco is actually a competitor of Broadcom. Cisco's getting a bit of a push. Arista Network, someone mentioned, was up to a high. That's on Ciena. Now we're talking about networking. All right. Remember, the largest business for Broadcom is networking chips. They sell the ASICs that make switches go burr. Some light coming in. Oh, but that's it. Yeah, okay, good. If there were term limits, political ad spend would fly to insane levels. I'd rather both political parties say we will voluntarily remove term limits. Like, that's the way to do it, but you can't have a law. You can have at the state level laws for state government, and frequently states do that. They say governors can only serve a certain amount of terms, or state representatives, state senators can only work a certain number of terms, and I respect that. That's a part of state constitution, state law, right? So yeah, what you are seeing on the networking side right now, how's Juniper doing? Yep, Juniper's up a bit. But what you are seeing on the networking side is because of Ciena's report. And again, Broadcom's tonight. So that's why I'm saying, like, kind of like NVIDIA, we should have a good idea on how the overall Broadcom company does. They probably do well. They probably do well. That's the expectation. I don't know what people expect. If they think Broadcom's capable of doing what NVIDIA did, reminder, the buy side thought NVIDIA's guide next quarter was going to be about 14 to 14.2 billion. NVIDIA said, nope, 16 billion. Broadcom is not capable of putting out guidance that's that outrageously higher. My right to vote for a goddamn weekend at Bernie's. I agree. Yeah. Glup shit us. It's maybe a standard aptitude psych test would be good too. There are probably some younger congressmen, but we can't institute those for. Again, it's this is a constitutional thing. The Constitution sets out in black and white what is required to be a member of the House of Representatives or the president or the Senate. Like they make it very clear, and it's intentionally not a long list because I think the founding fathers assumed, well, no one's going to vote for an absolute moron, and yet here we are. Rizzo, CrowdStrike and Okta were yesterday. And they did very, very well. Yeah, if I was playing earnings tonight, by the way, I would do Dell. Do we have any options activity on Dell? Like, what are people thinking on this one? I'm not playing them, by the way. DD Mao, wasn't the Electoral College created because they thought people were morons? Not really that. No, the problem was smaller states. If there wasn't an electoral college, if you just used one, treat everyone as one vote, everyone votes, etc., then there would never ever be any attention paid to states like Iowa, South Carolina. People would spend their time in California, in big cities. Basically, big cities is where people would show up. There would be no need for a lot of interest in smaller, more rural areas. And if you know anything about American history, it's that traditionally they wanted to keep a lot of political power into the hands of farmers and rural people. So, yeah. Yeah, Recursive Eclipse is right. Cities tend not to understand the needs of rural areas and vice versa. Agreed. That's why y'all need to respect federalism. Federalism. It's the idea that you have some laws, some rights, etc., guaranteed at the federal level, but then the idea is you have a lot more that happens at the state level. So if you want to live in a state with weed, cool. There are states that can do that. If you want to live in a state without weed, cool. For some reason, you could do that. So instead, we ignore big cities. Chad, you're not fully wrong. Healing Care Bear, can't we at least do ranked choice? The Constitution says otherwise. We have to pass bills for that, to pass laws. I'd rather see us move to ranked choice. I actually liked ranked choice. But I think so many people jump on ranked choice on the idea of like, well, it gives me a third or fourth option. We could have third or fourth options without ranked choices, but society has decided we don't want that. There is nothing law legalistic that stops that. We used to have multiple parties. People just hated voting for losers. That's all. Ranked choice is one step away from socialism. Yeah, someone said like Dell's still around. Dude, Dell's revenue in 2023 is $102 billion. They still exist. The difference between Dell and HP is HP broke themselves into two. So they have an arm that specifically sells PCs, printers, etc. to consumers, and then they have their server division that sells into data centers, etc. Look at Dell, though. You have servers and storage. You can buy servers. All right. Power Edge. I want to buy something cloud scale, right? Where's my AI? Let me go back to the processor, AMD. They give me a GPU. What? Oh, fuck off. Look at that sale. 46% off. Jesus. Products. Where's the AI? AI Ops and IT Observe. Artificial intelligence. Okay, here we go. Yep. So I have generative AI with NVIDIA. It's at the very top. The products. Oh, here we go. I can shop now. The thing looks fucking massive. Holy shit. So 2 4th gen Intel Xenon. That sucks. With the Intel chipset, accelerators, 8 NVIDIA H100 80 gigabyte, 700 watts, or 8 of the A100s. Lots of memory, lots of storage. Interesting. If you're actually interested, you can get rack servers for pennies on the dollar via office liquidations. That makes sense. That actually does. Today you got secondhand furniture from a high-end hotel in India for around $100 per room. Nice, well played. So they just slap Dell on other people's shit. You got it. Yeah, if there was any of the earnings, I mean, seriously, like Dell and Lulu are the two I would play. Both of them long. I'm not touching either, though. I think the better strategy is let's see who falls and then buy them. That's the time to buy. By the way, how's Dick's doing? Look at this. We know there's a bunch of fans of Dick's in here. I see you all. Okay, big Dick fans. Should I say big fans of Dick's? My belief is this starts moving its way up. I still think this will eventually close that gap. Hey, Zagano. It's a great emoji. Dick's is experiencing massive shrinkage. Turns out it's no longer a grower. They were in the pool. Come on, it was cold. Reminder, Dick's, for all the shit you guys want to talk, which is fair. All right. It's trading at 9 times forward PE, 3.5% dividend. Their dividend is fucking secure as shit. All right. They even have a share buyback. Like, I get it. No one liked their earnings. No one liked them talking about theft. That's why you can get it for, quote, relatively speaking, cheap. It better be a shower. That's what I'll say. Big cap market mega. This is a good question. Is theft a real big issue in the US? It's a regional issue. It's a regional issue. All right. Not only that, and this is a comment that was made inside VBears, and I think it's actually very clever. I think I agree with it. I think a lot of companies are blaming shit on theft when their actual problem is they over-ordered inventory, they had to mark it down, and they're looking for any excuse to explain this away. There absolutely are theft issues, and it tends to be a more regional issue. Walmart specifically called it out, and they included data, and they said it's not a nationwide thing. They are observing the issues in certain areas, and a lot of it has to do in areas that deprioritized crime. Chad, you said that? Okay. You were right. Very smart. Very astute. Not just California, but yes, obviously California. Because their fucking moron of a district attorney has decided that, well, fuck it. Right? And that's bullshit. But we spoke about that earlier, yeah. Probably strictly Portland and California. Unfortunately, it is a lefty thing. This is where progressives has decided that decriminalizing a lot of like the crime approach, and it's backfired. It's not even popular amongst the majority of Democrats, by the way. So yeah, this is one of these areas where progressives are trying to destroy some cities here, and it's not working out well. Crime follows poverty, always has. Bigger cities have more poverty. That's true. But to be fair, you got areas like San Francisco itself where, yes, San Francisco has a lot of poverty, but I'm not going to call downtown San Francisco a poor area. It's priced out a lot of people. Theft seemed like a scapegoat there. Glup, you're almost perfectly correct. Yep. But they are observing theft. It's true. It's true. I think it's just overplayed. Downtown San Francisco is District 9. Yeah. Yeah. I won't fucking move there. But then again, I wasn't going to move there 3 or 4 years ago either. I've had numerous opportunities. That's a fun thing. But I want to keep my eye on Sentinel 1. I want to sell out of my shares before the end of the day. This feels like a good time as any. I will probably look to buy back in. I wouldn't be surprised if they do very well for earnings, but I don't. I've done pretty well just trading shares on these guys. Here we go. IoT. I don't know anything about that company. I don't know if it's a C3 AI situation where they just scamming. So since I don't know them, I avoid them. All right, about to sell, and boom, there goes my sale order. Ooh, I knocked the price down 2 pennies. All right, guys, less than 10 minutes to go in the day. How's Broadcom treating the end of the day? Pretty good. How's Lulu? Kind of all over the place. How's Dell? Dude, you're getting a Dell. Yeah, Broadcom, Lulu, MongoDB, Sentinel-1, Dell. I don't even care about VMware. The acquisition's the only thing that matters for them. Lamb research spiking? What? Big volume. I assume all the people's news of the memory cycle bottoming is probably helping out Lamb. Oh, and there's also this. It's a breakout in a quote triangle, right? Ooh, that spy candle. Nothing makes you happier than me eating crayons, I bet. Y'all love it when I show you my very rudimentary version of TA. Reminder, guys. Today, the SPY so far has had 46.5 million shares traded. All right. For comparison, over the last 10 days, on average, we have 78 million. On Monday, Labor Day, markets closed. This is the lowest volume possible right now. No one managing real money gives a fuck. All right. So, whatever has happened this week, do not take as some kind of long-term guide. Jay's TA. There's a gap. You're great. I'm always putting in gaps. I'm like, Jesse, gap. Jesse told me all gaps get filled. Not just his. Market on close, 280 million to the sell side. E-Trade is transferring accounts to Morgan Stanley. Interesting. Suchi, is spot volume even a relevant factor? I assume it still is a relevant factor. I think it should still be a relevant factor. I know there's that whole belief that like futures move the entire market. I don't fully disagree with that, but I don't think you could ignore everything but futures, right? Speaking of gaps, check out Ulta. There's Ulta pulling off its nice little double bottom here. Just bought some SPY for. Oh, wow. Does it? That's interesting. We were just mentioning how low the volume was and the fact that we had Labor Day on Monday. But I didn't know that. I mean, what data do we get tomorrow? We had PCE, we had PMIs. We had what? We've had GDP this week. All that data, by the way, is very backward looking. We have non-farm payrolls, got it. I assume non-farm payrolls are not going to be that good. Like all the data we keep getting, guys. First of all, it's all been getting guided or revised downward in the future anyway. And all the data we've been getting is not like the original quote, like 5.8% real GDP growth. That number is bullshit. There's no fucking way we're at 5.8% real GDP growth. When do we get Employers Day? That's every day that's not Labor Day. Trust me, as a corporate HR dude, employers in the United States tend to do well. Yeah, non-farm payrolls be a continuation from JOLTS and ADP. Is it connected, by the way, to JOLT specifically? Yeah, the ADP I get. So it'll be bad, but the market's so happy about anything that says no more hikes, it ignore what it really means. So calls, fair enough. You think we front ran tomorrow? Probably. Oil's up 2.3%, XLE down. What's the dollar doing? Dollar was up. Does the dollar impact actual commodity or the equities? Like, because yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that. Yes. Which one? Dollar moves oil. Shouldn't that be going in the opposite direction then? Is BARD available to? I don't know. Yeah, big impacts on physical. That's what I thought. I know Russia put out a statement that they're talking about extending their quote production cuts, to which we'd say that's fine. Polestar got pulled. Yep. Now starts the dark months of tech. Mercury is closing the retrograde. I would be very cautious right now. Yeah. Physical is bullish today. Got it. All right, guys. Less than 5 minutes to go, and the SPY is now red. Yeah, I do not understand. If the sell-off on the healthcare stocks, the insurance stocks, is the news of South Carolina suing UNH, then this market's stupider than even I thought. It can't be. It can't be. Like, there needs to be some other reason. It's still too early in the political cycle for it to just be the quote politics. Either way. 3 strongest in the S&P today. Palo Alto, Axon, and Arista. Weakest, TPR, RMD, and CVS. Ugh. It easy. You did not tune in for a few days because quite busy. Oh, that's fair. What is my take on the everything is revised down? We're coming off like one of the weirdest data phases imaginable. It's not a conspiracy, no. And actually, there was a really good tweet last night that I actually forwarded on. Let me pull it out. Steve Leisman called out Zero Hedge. Because Zero Hedge made a comment. In the past month, the Biden Department of Goal-Seeking stuff, higher before revising it lower, has revised the following data sharply lower. Jobs, JOLTS, new home sales, housing starts and permits, industrial production, PCE, and core PCE. Steve Leisman responded and said, there is no evidence that I know of systemic downward revisions to data. Please provide if you have and explain why a government would go through the very difficult and criminal process of making numbers up only to correct them later publicly. Here are the past several years of benchmark payrolls revisions. And he compares Trump to Biden. And you'll see payrolls were overstated during, and he puts in parentheses, and this is important, not by the Trump administration. And that's the super important thing that I think people don't realize. The people that are doing these data points, it's not the political appointees of the party. It's the bureaucracy that already existed. The same people oftentimes in place. So it's not a conspiracy theory. It's people who don't understand how government works. My assumption, though, in terms of why we're seeing all these revisions, is that we're coming off 3 years of the wildest swings. And therefore, the data is just naturally going to be fucked up coming off of that. So off COVID, all of a sudden you shut down immigration, etc. A lot of the reporting changed. That's what I think happened. But yeah, it's not conspiracy things. That's just people who don't understand how the world and government works. The fuck's happening to the SPY? It's down 0.1% on the day. I assume people are actually selling out right now because they don't want to hold for non-farm payrolls tomorrow. I guess that could be the best guess. Time! Bears win! Give you your points. Not Broadcom. All right, so earnings. At 4 o'clock, we have no one. We have to wait till 4:05 for Lulu, Mongo, and Dell. Yep, Lulu's today. Reminder, I'm literally not playing any of these companies. The two that I would have played if I played, I would have done Dell calls and I would have done Lulu calls. Broadcom, I think Broadcom does well. I don't know if they get rewarded. If they drop, I like it. If Broadcom drops, I like it. Broadcom's 415. Sentinel One and MongoDB, I have no clue. MongoDB has like never missed earnings ever. Fuck, you can't buy Lulu after hours? No. They locking you out, son. Bond villains taking your money. I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay. I assume no numbers have come out yet. What about theft at Lulu stores? I don't know. They probably have some theft, but I assume theft will not be a big enough of a deal, at least for how the company performs. I assume that while theft is real, a lot of the companies blaming theft are trying to cover up for other fuck ups as well. The only company, by the way, who talked about theft and actually backed it up with data was Walmart. And Walmart was very clear. The theft issue was not universal across the country, it was specific areas. Careful, Penny. Don't go there. It does feel like an intimidating place to steal from, yeah. And Penny, thank you very much for the bits. Greatly appreciated, my friend. You used to sell covered calls on air, but then you saw how that happened, huh? Whoa, Lulu. Look at that. Hold on. Down. bouncing a little bit. Dell's up. And Lulu is now... Oh, back down. MongoDB up. First move is fake, maybe. If you guys got numbers, we love numbers. Dell is up, by the way. Dell is up big. Well, 6%, about 6%. Dell is a beat, sounds about right. I bet you they're outperforming HP. I bet you they are outperforming HP, and that's the story. Lulu's bouncing around a lot, by the way. I have Lulu starting to move up now. Still waiting for numbers, though. See if we get some numbers. Lulu turned lemon, apparently. All right, let's see Lulu. All right, Lulu, EPS, net revenue. Looks like they beat on revenue. Gross margin, they beat on margin. Looks like they're guiding up next quarter for revenue. And looks like they're guiding up. Not big guide ups, by the way. They're not big guide ups, but it looks like they beat and guided up. Yeah, it's already coming back. MongoDB. Adjusted EPS. Well, let me pull up their data. Looks like a huge beat on EPS, by the way, on MongoDB. Oh, yeah, MongoDB crushed it. MongoDB crushed. Lulu, by the way, is coming back. Yep, MongoDB is up 7.5%. I want to see those Dell numbers. Dell crushed it. Makes sense. Problems with HP are HP problems. Holy shit. Yeah, Dell fucking smoked it. Second quarter adjusted EPS, $1.74. Estimate was $1.14. That's a big beat. Operating income, $1.98 billion. The estimate was $1.5 billion. Slight miss by VMware on revenue, beat on EPS. No one cares, right? VMware is a story of, will they be allowed to be acquired by Broadcom? Which is why they're reporting the same day, by the way. So I assume VMware, no one cares. Yeah, Dell fucking crushed it. Holy shit. I mean, MongoDB is mooning. Good for them. Dell should be mooning. Yeah, now Dell is up 7%. Dude, you're getting a Dell. Lulu. Lulu has retraced most of its downward movement. I want to understand more on Lulu. Why was the original reaction, like, what were people expecting here? Yeah, they beat on top line and bottom line. Very small guide ups, but yeah, I don't get the Lulu reaction. Jay doesn't play. You hasn't always worked out. Yeah, now Lulu, by the way, is green. Yeah, not a big move. Sentinel 1 just went nuts. Shit, I sold out of it. Look at them go. That's fine. Hey, Reggae, I'm doing fine. Yep, Sentinel-1 seems to be doing well. And it's funny, for everyone who wants to be bearish on the overall state of the economy, a lot of companies have been doing well. Sentinel-1 revenue's a beat. Interesting. Annual recurring revenue, 612 million. Okay. The word adjusted gets a big workout with Sentinel-1, I'll warn you. Give me more caffeine. This is a good question. Companies doing well, or are the expectations so low? Both. Both. Famous young guy. A lot of your friends are successful business owners and they are calling bullshit. I think what's happening is, particularly with higher interest rates, big enterprises, big companies are doing just fine. Smaller companies are the ones most exposed. That's the unfortunate, the uncomfortable part. We're probably, by maintaining rates as high as we are, we're probably increasing income inequality in America. Goldman has been wrong on oil and earnings recession. To be fair, was Goldman the one talking earnings recession? I thought it was Morgan Stanley. Someone put out a brutal tweet earlier about Mike Wilson. Yep. Mike Wilson, his last 3 calls. So the first point, we were wrong, heard around the world. Mike Wilson, July 24th, 2023. The stock market pivot rally may go higher. Mike Wilson, August 1st, 2023. And then NVIDIA market reaction shows US rally is over, August 25th. And now the market's moved up. Brutalizing. Yeah, I didn't think Goldman was the one. Goldman was the one that was specifically saying they thought the overall recession, they thought there was less likelihood of a recession than the overall market. Big cap market maker, NVIDIA, big bear trap. Yeah. Some of the NVIDIA bears, I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but like some of the NVIDIA bears were very loud for not knowing shit. Like anytime someone said, oh, their PE is 250, ignore that person in all things related to stocks. No one gives a fuck. Holy shit, Sentinel-1's fucking now. Goldman had said earnings Armageddon was coming. Okay. Suchi, that could just be cost savings. Yeah, there's a component of cost savings. Absolutely. Absolutely. But we are also seeing companies posting like real revenue growth. Or just specifically revenue growth. All right, how's MongoDB doing? They're up almost 10. How's Dell doing? They're up 8. How's Intel doing? I bet you Intel and AMD get bumps. Intel's now up 0.7. AMD's up 0.12. That makes sense. Yeah, we saw Lulu guided up, but it was a small guide up. Lulu's original reaction of a big dump was stupid, based on the numbers I saw. Now, let's see how they handle the phone call. Sagano, the S in Intel stands for success. I love that meme. Very small guide up. Let's see Broadcom. I anticipate Broadcom does well, but AI is not the largest part of their business. Networking is. Networking should be good. Operating EPS is down though, Q2 versus Q1s. Yeah, there was a separate post someone had pointed out that actually suggested it was the trough. Based on how companies performed this quarter, and more importantly, their guidance, it's leading everyone to saying Q2 was the trough. The only way the market goes up is if Q2 was the trough. When did Broadcom switch to Avago's ticker? No clue. Good question. MongoDB guiding up. Oh, Broadcom's first move is down. First move is down. Like I said, I selfishly want this one to fall. Pager duty with a beat. Not bad. Small company. Yep. We're looking at Broadcom. The Troth argument is very questionable. The economy is just starting to weaken. Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I like the argument the economy is just starting to weaken, and then they're like, all right, did you hear what Visa, MasterCard, did you not see the Red Book data from just earlier this week, which was unambiguously strong? Broadcom, slight beat on EPS, or sorry, adjusted net revenue, slight beat on EPS. Yeah, nothing sexy. Do we have a guide on Broadcom? Like I said, if people were expecting Broadcom to pull an NVIDIA, they're not set up that way. They are not going to do it. Someone says Broadcom dump was priced for perfection. Ask that person what the PE is. They aren't priced like NVIDIA. That's, yeah. Jesus. Non-GAAP operating margin for Broadcom is apparently 62.2%. Prometheum. That guy does look at PE, just a vertical chart, and assumes it's expensive. Yeah. Good. Let it fall. Let it fall. Broadcom is the problem is 2023 operating EPS consensus was at 250 at the start of 2023. Yeah, but by this point, you're not buying on 2023 numbers. You're buying on 2024 numbers. Just agree. Broadcom, buy the dip tomorrow after options get crushed. I agree with that. I don't even know how far this fucker is going to fall. If you are short Broadcom, take your gains. Don't fuck around dealing with the phone call with Hawktan. Yeah, Broadcom is now flat on the day. It's like Broadcom guide is down. Do we have their guide? Ooh, I want to see that. They guided down by 10 million on 9.27 billion. That's in line. Very tiny. Did Apple move? Apple would move during the call, I assume. Those bums. Apple dumped right before. I didn't see that. Apple dumped right before the market closed. Wow. Lulu's basically flattened after hours. It's the first time Lulu's ever had an earnings in which they haven't really moved. CEO and CFO statements from Broadcom. The company's growth was attributed to demand for next generation networking technologies, especially in AI clusters and data centers. They're only up 5% year over year, by the way. That's consolidated revenue, and that has to do with a lot of their quote software business, which is supposedly lagging. OXM beats EPS missed revenue. Who are they? Oxford. Yeah, apparel. Okay, gotcha. Apparel's been a story of winners and losers. Tommy Bahama got it. Yeah, the Broadcom reaction is going to be really interesting to see. You know, the worst part about the growth story of 2024 is they expect, who's they? They expect revenue to remain stagnant and margins to go up from about 12% now to 12.5%. Could happen. Oh, that's consensus. Got it. Yeah, MongoDB is up 8%. SentinelOne up 9.8. Jesus, I shouldn't have sold. Happens. Dell 6.6%. Lulu flat. Not even flat on the day. They're up on the day a little bit, just flat in after hours. So someone sold Lulu at 360 and it's currently 380. Blues Clues. Remember when Broadcom was 600? Yeah. Yeah. Now Hawk Tan gets to get prepped for his phone call. For those that don't know, Hawk Tan is a Malaysian dude who's the head of Broadcom, and he is just a character. He's a spicy, spicy meatball. Watching him battle analysts on a phone call. It's not quite as interesting as, say, Lorenzo Gonzalez. I mean, he hasn't told analysts to kill themselves, but he is a spicy one. Has he told them their embarrassment to their parents? Not recently, no. By the way, the semiconductor solutions portion of Broadcom, which is their biggest portion, they beat pretty good on that. So sure enough, it was their software side that held them back. Real pain, you had way out of the money $700 October Broadcom calls that you sold. Oh, Spencer, I'm so sorry. How did IoT do? Looks like they dropped immediately, but now are coming back. Yeah, I mean, right now Broadcom's down 2.3%. You'd have to wait to hear the phone call. Broadcom, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. If they give you opportunities to get in, I don't know if 2.5% down, by the way, is enough to necessarily like jump in. I want to see them fall a little bit more. But for people worried, like, oh my God, look how much the stock is up, don't overthink this one. Broadcom's a really good company, and it's trading at roughly 20 times forward PE. This is not an expensive company. People who say, oh, it's priced for perfection, they're not smart. They don't know this space. They do not know this space. Broadcom is a boring boomer. It's really a hedge fund behaving like a company. But yeah, it'll be interesting to read the report out. Yeah, but you want it back to valuation 6 months ago? Yeah, we all should have been buying 6 months ago. Promo was screaming at us. When it was trading at 14 times forward PE, it had one of the highest operating margins of any company. Any company. Like, I would love to see a comparison between Broadcom's operating margins and oil company operating margins at peak oil pricing. Okay, Broadcom was one of the highest operating margin companies in the entire market. They just make a lot of fucking money. That is also, by the way, why they have to do acquisitions. There was, 10 to 11 times forward EPS at the bottom. Damn. They probably just see a stock of $900 a share and think it's expensive, which is fair. I wish they'd do a split. Come on, Hawk. I'm willing to bet they're not splitting because the acquisition of VMware, part of it's pegged by their stock. So it would probably fuck with the, I don't know if it should, but it may fuck with the math theoretically. But yeah. NVIDIA needs a split. Don't laugh. NVIDIA will probably split again. NVIDIA's done quite a few splits. Jensen is very retail friendly, shall we say. Nutanix was a beat. Isn't that data center software? Oh, wow. 12. Yeah, this is data center software. Interesting. EOSE. EOS Energy. Blues Clues, you would love a Broadcom split. Yeah, I would too. Oh, wow. They are really dominant right now. I assume, by the way, Broadcom wouldn't split until post acquisition, right? Suchi, watch all the NVIDIA bears say that the split is to offload expensive NVIDIA stock. I keep getting into it with people who keep talking about like CoreWeave. Basically, you got people who did not know what CoreWeave was, and I don't have anything good to say about them. Like, congrats, Woodward and Bernstein. You've managed to pick up on all the shit, all the accountants, all the semiconductor analysts. You know, all of them have missed out. Yes, NVIDIA's a fraud. You got them. You got them. It just so happens all your put options got fucking destroyed. Right? Yeah. The reason why Maersk dumped big today, I have no clue. I wasn't tracking them. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Let's see who to raid. All right, guys, let's go see how Hackerman Ace is doing. Hackerman Ace for the win. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Until tomorrow, my friend.